I feel about as faded as my jeans. Bobby thumbed a diesel down just before it rained. It took us all the way in New Orleans. It goes on. I'm just trying to work on another verse, maybe a chorus. I'm thinking the chorus might go, feeling good was easy, Lord. Bobby sang the blues. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's
cool.
Maybe work on the chorus after the podcast potentially. Hey, podcast time, thank God. Welcome to another episode of Page Talk with Leha and Matt Ward live from the Eco Lodge. Great to be back, and we've got a very special guest today who's got a new album coming out next week.
Yep, Kaylee Bell, big fan.
Kaylee Bell, welcome to the show, and what did you think of that preamble?
I rated it.
Yep.
Yeah. You're a seasoned music though, aren't you? Like, it goes without saying. There's something about the Lee, like we've both got it in our names. It's
I don't know. If you can shoehorn something in, I'll get it in. Don't worry about that. But hey, look, Kay, before we get stuck into you, before we go talk about too much about the new album and a tour that's coming up, let's do a bit of a deep dive back into your past.
Oh God, be sure.
Do you recognize this voice?
We don't have a voice.
Sorry?
We don't have a voice.
I thought we might do like, hey, this is your life kind of thing there, where you know that someone like an old auntie. You don't have that?
No.
All right, it would be nice if you mentioned we didn't have that. Well, look,
I might just jump in with a question.
We'll go to traditional stuff then. We'll go to traditional.
I would say get this podcast back on track, but I don't think it actually ever was. But Kaylee, thanks for joining us.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
Tell us how does a girl from Waimate become the most streamed Australasian country singer?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Thanks.
Well, you grow up in a town that like you really just essentially want to leave at some point, and you get out in the world and you chase whatever it is that you're chasing. And for me, it's always been country music, and lucky that I get to wake up every day now and do it. It's pretty crazy.
And I suppose the South Island, Timaru, Waimate, etc., probably more prevalent, I suppose, with country music as opposed to the rest of New Zealand. I mean, that's obviously was the case when you were growing up. You got into it when you were young.
Yeah, I started when I was 4, and I was lucky my family did it. But I do think the South Island, for whatever reason, had a really good talent quest kind of circuit. And for whatever reason, we grew up on American country music. And as I've got older, I guess, and the more I've travelled, you kind of realise small towns are the same no matter where in the world they are, right? So, it was quite a natural kind of genre to fall into, being a small town.
Would you say that Waimate is the Nashville of New Zealand?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Thought so.
Like, what do we need to do to make that happen is what I want to know.
You mentioned, what do you call it, competitions. Obviously, later on, you were involved in some major competitions, et cetera, over in Aussie, but talent quest, I remember, bring back to me again for a moment. I remember entering a talent quest when I was about 18 with a guitar, showed up, and you had to play by yourself, which I wasn't used to doing. I was nervous as hell. Showed up on the stage, they called my name up, I was going to do my song.
Yes.
Went there, opened up my guitar case, nervous as hell, and the guitar wasn't in it.
No!
Seriously, it's a true story. And you could see my face. My brother was watching, and he said something. It's almost like opened up and went,
my God.
and I think
What did you do?
I think someone might have given me a guitar, but I was thrown by then anyway. But that's the sort of competition that you would have gone on and won, though.
Really.
That's the sort of stuff you would have, the other ones that you would have gone, and now they would have said, shit, who the hell is this?
They are those sorts of competitions where, like you said, you've explained it well, you get up with a band who have like never heard the song.
What key is it in?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like fly by the seat of your pants. And that's the exact environment that I grew up on. And I think it does you wonders. As you know, you've probably never forgotten your guitar since, right?
Well, I've never forgotten the experience.
How'd you get on in that competition?
I came last. Actually, I came second last. I actually went better than if I had actually played it. Okay, so let's move on then. Of course, it was kind of Aussie, I suppose, that you really started to cut through.
Yeah, Aussie have been the kind of first audience that have embraced what I do, I think. Right back from, I moved to Australia when I was about 19, 20 and lived there for about 6 or 7 years. I actually kicked about in Bathurst, of all places, which was quite random, and then found myself on The Voice Australia. So, I feel like Aussie have really like kick-started a lot of things for me. There's just quite a big industry over there.
And the music scene, I suppose, is when there's population.
Yeah.
But it's broader. I mean, country music, rock music even is bigger there compared to here.
100%. And
guitar music. You know?
yeah, they just really embrace it. You know, like the festivals we play in Australia, I just feel like the Aussie fans are just so much fun. Like you'll go to a 3-day festival and there'll be no fighting. Like everyone's happy. It's like they're some of the coolest festivals we get to play. So yeah, in terms of like the goal has always been America, but Australia is always part of that goal. And I'm just lucky that we have such a great time touring over there now too.
Is that where your biggest following is, sort of Aussie or the States? Or
yeah,
here,
Australia and America now. So they're kind of on par, which is nice. So I get to spend a bit of time in both places. So we're back and forward a lot.
And is it frustrating for you, or I suppose people in New Zealand, they probably just don't have an appreciation of just how big country music and genre is, say, in the States? I mean, you could be on the top 10 or 20 or something in the country charts, and that's just massive compared to anything here.
Yeah, you're right. It's growing here, as you've probably seen. Like there's a lot of country music on the radio here now, which is amazing. But yeah, you have a number one song in America. That's like you're set for life, right? And you can tour off the back of that forever. And so for years growing up in New Zealand, all I wanted was to hear country music on the radio. And I feel like we've achieved that. But you go to America and it's everywhere, right? It's at the nail salon. It's in the cab that you get into. It's like, it's just so ingrained in their culture.
And one of your really popular songs, Keith, is a tribute to Keith Urban.
It is a tribute to the Keith Urban.
How did that come about, and how does Nicole Kidman feel about that?
Well, I haven't heard from her, so I guess that's probably a sure sign.
I mean, you could be Nicole Kidman, like sort of most confident person in the world, but if someone's writing a song as a
I would
tribute
love
to your
to be
husband.
Nicole Kidman. She's amazing. I actually get so many weird comments on my TikTok being like, "Are you Keith's daughter?" Like, I'd say probably there'd be thousands of comments on my TikToks being like, "Are you related to Keith? Are you Keith's daughter?" So it's like,
You've obviously met him, right?
I've probably met
He's
Keith.
a pretty cool guy.
Didn't you perform it to him on The Voice?
Yes, I performed my song to him, which was terrifying. A lot of people talk about those shows where, you know, there's a lot of setups and all that kind of thing, where for me it genuinely was not that case at all. It was like, flew to Australia, was actually meant to be singing another song. The music team were like, "Hey, Keith's a coach. We'd love you to actually sing your song." This was like the day before our audition. I mean, it's so cool. I have so many people who have discovered that all around the world now, that moment of like me singing that song, Keith turning the chair, thank God that he did. And the rest is kind of history, which is wild.
Yeah, God, he's a great guitarist, isn't he?
He is one of the best guitarists. He and John Mayer.
And Brad Paisley.
And Brad
also
Paisley.
You played with him as well as a country guitarist. I mean, he's amazing.
He's phenomenal. People don't really know that till you go to a live. Like, to me, Keith, the live show, he is the GOAT of the live show. Like, he is the greatest in terms of country music playing live. But people are always like shocked when they go to a Keith show and they're like, "I didn't know he was such a good guitarist."
Yeah,
like,
he plays that down, doesn't
Yeah.
he? Oh, I'll tell you what.
Might just have a quick break.
Well, I was going to say we should have a quick break.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, do you want to do it, or I'll do it?
Oh, you might as well do it. We've done it now.
Well, you start.
We'll have a quick break.
We'll have a quick break and we'll be back with Kaylee Bell in a second. Welcome back to Paid to Talk with Lee Hart and Matt Ward, and we've got a very special guest with us, country singer Kaylee Bell.
That's right. And we were talking about some of the people you've performed with and alongside, etc. I saw you perform a couple of years ago, actually.
Did you?
Yep, you were opening for Ed Sheeran.
oh, no way.
At Eden Parks. I mean, that's a pretty massive gig.
Yeah.
You've obviously done gigs of that size all over the world now.
That was probably one of the, I mean, that was the first time we've played a stadium. I mean, I've always grown up on like Shania Twain. So like for me, my goal one day is to play stadiums.
Yeah.
But to get to do that with an artist like Ed Sheeran was just like one of the coolest things. Like, I'm happy now, like whatever happens, I'm good.
Totally. I mean, that was a great show. If I remember rightly, I think he ended up having some sound issues afterwards.
Yeah, you were there that night.
Yeah,
That
yours was fine. And after that.
That's right.
It wasn't that he opened his guitar case and it wasn't there.
Imagine that.
See, he didn't have that happen when he was a teenager, so he didn't learn that lesson.
But yeah, so you're spending a lot of time in the States, put it that way. So how does
spend a
that
lot of
work?
time
How much time do you
travel.
spend there, and where do you live when you're there?
Yeah, so basically I started going to Nashville when I was 18, and it's been about 14 years back and forward. Obviously visas are really hard to get, so it was a lot of like save my money, go for 3 months, come back, save my money. I did that like repetitively all through my 20s, and then moved to Nashville 3 years ago. So I was living in Nashville full
What's
time.
that like living there aside from the music side of things? What's it as a place?
Yeah, it's
Thanks, mate.
It's an interesting place, actually. I feel like if you took the music away, you'd be like, why am I in Nashville?
Right, yeah.
But obviously being in the industry, it's one of the most exciting towns to be in.
Yeah, and the musicians that are there.
Everywhere. Everyone is a songwriter. Everyone's trying to like work a day job and make the dream happen. It's one of the most inspiring towns you could possibly be in because people are literally chasing their dreams, again, with no guarantee. Everyone's kind of in the same boat. And the success is so close. Like every day you're like, this is an opportunity day. You know, any day could change your life in Nashville. Like there's not many places in the world that you could live that you could say that.
Yeah.
Like you're one song away and that could be written at any time with anybody.
But the competition must be intense. So you've got to be at the top of your game the whole time, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I always found hard. I always, I loved coming home just to like reset. And I always feel like I really appreciate like just the nature of New Zealand and all the really simple things that we have here that we kind of take for granted after a while. I just found them so like resetting and healing the more time that I spent over there. So I feel like as much as it's been really tough being from New Zealand and having to try and go over there and make a mark, I kind of look at it like we're so lucky to be able to come back here and have this, you know, and it's been a really healthy balance, I think.
So coming back like for a grounding kind of thing, come back to New Zealand kind of thing?
See the family and like I said, just be around nature and time really does slow down. Like you said, you actually kind of can't relax over there because you're like, if I don't go there, then I might not meet that person. And it's like you become a little bit crazy, like because every day is just like a possibility to meet someone that could change your life in Nashville. So
yeah, look, I might just interrupt you both here if I could. You know, sometimes I feel like a hearty snack. I turn to Snack-a-Janky. It's New Zealand's oldest and most trusted chip brand, established in 1648 or thereabouts. That's saying something. Check out the new killer prawn cocktail flavour. I love them, and so will you. And once you try Snack-a-Janky, you'll never go back-a-Janky. I mean, you've been doing this for a little while now. I mean, because you started so young.
Yeah.
But what do you make of the sort of the music industry in the sense like the streaming aspect, all this stuff? I mean, I know your album's coming out on vinyl and CD, etc., but also the streaming's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, has that been a frustration, how that side of the industry works now? And
I think, okay, there's two different ways that you can look at it. And I don't think it was necessarily set up right from the beginning. And that's why we're kind of trying to play catch up with it a lot. And I still think that songwriters lose out from it, which I think is the biggest downfall, because what are we if we don't have songwriters in this world? Like, to me, songwriters are like step one, right? Like, we need great songs. But from an artist point of view, I feel like it's allowed me in the last, particularly I'd say 5 years, to remain independent. And like I've always been an independent artist, and it's never been a better time because like the streaming world has kind of knocked down a lot of walls that used to exist. You know, like people can listen to your music anywhere in the world now at any time. And then you can go on tour those countries.
You didn't have to have a middleman.
You didn't have to,
a record company
go and grease up to someone and get on radio. And it's just like, I look at it from such a positive point of view because I've seen it from a positive point of view with what it's done for my career and allowed me to have a global career, essentially. You know, like you think about being in New Zealand, if I didn't have that global reach, like you'd be very much stuck to your territory.
Yep.
And so, I think there's so much positive from it. I think, like I said, there's a lot of catch up that needs to be done in terms of like just having some things in place with proper pay, particularly for songwriters. But I love that I can go anywhere in the world now.
This is going really well, actually. I think we'll submit this toward the podcast
awards.
Oh,
wow, the podcast awards.
Yep.
Wow.
I don't want to put any pressure on you, but we might put this in the podcast.
So there's a lot of pressure not to stuff up the rest of the episode.
Yeah. You talk about some influences that you mentioned, Shania Twain and stuff.
Yes.
Who else has influenced you in that way, musicians? You know, across the spectrum, don't have to be sort of country.
Yeah, so much. I'd say like female artists actually over the years. I think of like who I'm introducing my child to at the moment is like the stuff that I grew up on, which is like the Tina Arenas of the world. And I just love those like really strong female voices of the 90s.
And Linda Ronstadt, sort of way back in the 80s.
Linda
I mean, something
Ronstadt.
the country, but also crossover.
Absolutely.
And,
she had a lot of mainstream stuff going on back then. Like there's a lot of country artists, obviously, like the Pam Tillises, the Trisha Yearwoods, like just phenomenal. Grew up on a lot of that stuff. But then I also love mainstream. Like I love radio. Why I think like someone like Keith Urban really, you know, I'm really drawn towards him because he's the same. He has a lot of like pop sensibility that he's pulled into country music. So for him, he'll write like with a melody, or he'll start with like a loop that's like more of a feeling, as opposed to like a lot of Nashville writing is that you would walk into a room exactly like this and we'd sit down with our guitars. Lee wouldn't have his because he wouldn't have bought it in the case. But this is how we would start our song, and we would just write with 3 guitars and someone would be writing lyrics. And so it's very lyric driven. And so that's why I love a lot of like radio influenced stuff where it's like melody driven and like, and if you can blend country music in terms of the lyrics and the pop melodies, I just think that is like the perfect.
Totally, because so many songs, I mean, the genre, it's only in the production side of it decides whether it's a country song, a rock and roll song, or a rockabilly song, or blues song. I mean, they're all good songs are good songs.
They're great, exactly. The song wins at the end of the day. And I always say that when I like, you know, like when I think of egos in our industry, I'm like, how does anybody actually have an ego? Because we're all at the mercy of the song. Like, and we're only as good as our last song, right? So someone else is going to come and kick our ass and write a better song tomorrow. Like,
Funny you should mention egos. I was in a band years ago called Wild Turkey with my brother and a guy called Matt Johnson. And egos got involved there because they both had really big egos. And I was the songwriter who didn't have such a big ego. But we ended up suing each other and all that, so that business side of it. But, you know, it was very much like, it got like the Beatles in a way.
So it got nasty.
How much suing was going on, so much so that the Beatles even got involved in it. Some of the Beatles that got involved without suing.
Was this happening at the same time as the Beatles? They were having their court.
No, when I said the Beatles were involved, Matt, the drummer, he had my Beatles CD collection, Greatest Hits. And I was trying to get that back off him. And kind of that was part of the whole deal, along with other stuff, songwriting rights and sort of stuff. And which, you know,
they really were involved.
We weren't suing for the rights. We were actually suing. We didn't want them. We were trying to give them to each other. You know, that was the thing.
You didn't want your songs.
We were trying. No, you have them. You know, and no one wanted to be the guy because the expenses of holding those rights was more than we were earning.
Gotcha.
So I suppose you're probably avoiding some of that by being your own boss.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I no BS kind of person. Like I think it's an industry that's full of it, and I love that I get to kind of call the shots and run this how I want to run this. And it was kind of accidental, you know. It was just because no one would sign me, and then it's got to that point now where it's like.
So it's good attitude, isn't it?
It's a great attitude.
I'll do it myself, kind of thing. You know?
It's very Kiwi, isn't it?
Yeah.
Talking about artists, I kind of look up to someone like a Taylor Swift, who's basically been the CEO of her own company. I think she's kind of just been a pretty big force in our industry of like knowing like the business side of things and the behind the scenes and all the ugly stuff that we don't really like to talk about when we're artists, because we're meant to be like so spontaneous and it's meant to be all these beautiful things, which it is, but it's also that. And so I love the other side of it too. I love looking at things from, you know, more of a business sense and learning about the behind the scenes and why things are the way they are in our industry, you know?
Yeah, and so no, you go.
No, just before you tell another Beatles story, it's probably a good time to throw to another break.
And after the break, perhaps we can talk about, how full on it must be now that you're with the family as well.
Yeah.
Trying to juggle all this stuff.
Bit of a mom.
Ooh, it's all
that
good.
and more after the break. Welcome back.
Well done, Leha.
That was
Thank
great.
you.
That was great.
Beautiful.
You should have heard the whole song. It was great.
Oh, God, we did.
We saved you. Hey, welcome back to Page to Talk with Leha, Matt Ward, and we've got special guest Kaylee Bell. Before we talk about your new album, which is coming out next week, a lot going on outside music.
Yeah.
New baby.
New little baby boy, James. He was born at the end of January, and so I haven't really remembered anything since. Yeah.
7 months old.
7 months old. Yeah. He's been everywhere. The best part was that before he was even born, I had Air New Zealand asking me for his name, which I'm like, do I need to decide this like today on the phone with like
what was that, a quiz question or something?
So I couldn't book any flights.
I
Obviously,
thought it was part
of the quiz. Yeah. So that was the first thing, and then we actually had our first gig 6 weeks after I gave birth. So basically, we had James. We had him like registering for a passport day 2, and then you've got to get a picture of this poor little baby with their eyes open. And
looking directly at the camera as well.
But yeah, so his eyes are computer generated because how you get a baby to open their eyes for a passport is beyond me.
Oh, that's one good thing about AI.
Isn't it? Thank you, AI.
AI eyes. Hey, so, but obviously, that time Kate's birth was 7 months ago, but of course before that was pregnancy and stuff. That's when you would have been working and writing the album and recording it.
Yeah. So we found out, so I actually didn't think I'd ever be able to have a child. So we found out we were having a baby when I was in Nashville, June last year. And so I just signed American management, booking agencies, like all the things. And so it was just like a huge shock. And so then, we kind of just went into planning mode. My partner works in my band and runs all that stuff as well. So we're both very much aligned with our path and goals in life. So we were just well, let's just make this happen and do it the best we can. And so I spent a bunch of time in America and wrote a bunch of the record in New York and Nashville. And we made most of it in over in Nashville. Then I flew my producer back to New Zealand in December last year, which was getting to that point of I think it was 34 weeks pregnant when you just can't fly anymore. We'd just come off the Kane Brown tour in Australia and I was at that point of I need to slow down. And so, my producer, Tom Jordan, flew out from Nashville and we made the record at home last year, which was pretty cool way of doing it.
Matt's got young kids as well.
Nice.
Slightly older than yours. But
4 and 2. It's all, there's lots to look forward to.
Yeah.
If you've got a 7-month-old. Yeah.
Okay.
They start crawling. They start eating adult food, which is just
Could you imagine making an album during that time when you...
I can't imagine making an album at all.
And you were just drinking bourbon in the wash house.
Nothing to do at that time.
Well, speaking of which, did those emotions, of having a child and et cetera, make its way at all into the album, into any songs or how you maybe recorded or felt? Or?
There's a song on there called Heartbeat, which was that moment of finding out I was pregnant. Like I said, I didn't think we were able to have children. So it was an absolute shock, obviously. Wow. I went into a songwriter in Nashville and actually kind of broke down into tears and was this is what's happening. And there was no way we could have written anything else that day. I always find songwriting is kind of counseling in a really good way. You're talking to strangers about your life, your most personal details. Becoming a parent, as you know, you just grow, right? And you think about life so differently. And I'm just looking at the world now, what it's actually going to look like for James and, when he's my age or whatever. And so there's actually, I just feel I've kind of just unlocked this thing that's happening now and I just can't stop writing songs about him. And
it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm excited. There's another song called Mankind. The whole premise of it is you raise the boy right, you make the mankind, and that's the idea behind this next song that I'm just super excited to have out.
Whereas if I did have to write an album right now, it'd probably be songs called Pipe Down, Stop Talking Back, Get Off Your Sister.
And bonus track, Stop Shitting Yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
What age do you start the toilet training? That's what I want to know.
You don't want to start it too early. That's the problem we had.
Okay.
Because they just, you want wooden, do you have hard wooden floors? Yeah, that's good. That's a good start.
It's a good start.
Well, let's talk about the album then. It's called Cowboy Up.
It is called Cowboy Up, yeah.
It's coming out on vinyl, CD, and also obviously live stream CD.
Yeah, so weirdly, and I'll probably say Australians mostly, my Australian market, love a CD.
Back to CDs, yeah.
And do you know what I think it is? I think it's when you're out driving a tractor around a paddock and you just get sick of Spotify cutting in and out and you're put on a goddamn CD, right? It's got to be where it comes from because I've been shocked that people still buy CDs, but they do.
It's amazing that's making a comeback.
I know. And cassette tapes, I think, are coming back too, which I do love a cassette tape. But I'm most excited about vinyl. To me, vinyl, it's a piece of art. It's a collector's item, isn't it? So that's the part that I'm most excited about.
You've got the whole cover. You've got all the, the details.
And there's room to sign.
Album.
You know, you want to leave people a nice little message, Leha.
Yeah, signed as well.
Says, can we please be best friends?
Oh, Thanks. There we are. Yeah, there we go. So when you go to Nashville, where do you stay? You got a place there or you just get up?
Okay, there's a few parts to this. First years I used to sleep on people's couches, do all the things, right? Obviously got a flat a few years ago, so I was living with some Australians in Nashville in a place called Bellevue, which is out west. And then recently I did this, I lived in New York for a month and stayed in this hotel, did a residency, played for them a couple nights a week, which was genuinely one of the coolest things I've ever done. New York in the summer. Yeah. Lived my best life. And and they own a bunch of hotels in Nashville. So our recent experience of Nashville, which we'd never done before, we took baby James, my partner came, and we got to stay in like one of the most pimpin' like hotels downtown. CMA Fest was on. We could like walk everywhere, go back and shower and charge your phone, all the things that I've just never like, I've always just been like running ragged around Nashville during CMA, like an absolute mess. And so if you guys are going, I highly recommend doing the downtown thing. The downtown thing is cool.
Hotel downtown thing.
Yeah, and Broadway. Have you seen Broadway before? Like Broadway is just like, it's like Vegas, but honky tonks.
Is it sort of like Memphis, but bigger?
But just like bigger, more neon, brighter.
Yeah.
Like everywhere you're walking, it's just like this soundboard of just like band, like all the wagon wheels, all the songs that you could possibly expect to hear all down Broadway. And it's just so much fun.
So when you're back in New Zealand, are you back down south or are you in Auckland?
Yeah. Mum and Dad still live in Waimate. All my family live around Christchurch. And so we always go down to Mum and Dad's for Christmas, and we'll very much be making sure that James is brought up with knowing that he's a can-tab, you know? It's important stuff.
No, yeah, true. Look, I know you've been busy all week, obviously doing promo and stuff, and you're probably shattered, but is there any chance you might want to play a couple of chords?
We can play some chords. If you can play some chords, do you want to play some chords with me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Cool. We've got special guest Kaylee Bell, who's got a guitar in her lap. Lee's also got a guitar in his
guy.
Yeah,
Lee's,
I also have a guitar in my lap.
Lee's sort of crowbarred his way
someone
into.
tell you I was bringing mine today, or did you just preempt this?
I've always had one lying around here somewhere, but...
So here we go. I think we should jam.
Okay.
Yeah?
Something off the new album?
Yeah, maybe. Can we do the title track, Cowboy Up?
Preferably your new album.
My album.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry,
Okay.
not to be mistaken for your new album.
Do you want us to turn Lee's microphone off? Or we...
It'll leak through anyway.
So we'll just do a verse and chorus of Cowboy Up. We were in love, here right on track. Life is out front, cars parked out back. We had everything we needed, and you treated me like baby I'm the one. Ooh, yeah. You hung the stars, I hung the moon. Your brown eyes caught my baby blues. Yeah, there was something in the whiskey, got me thinking maybe we could have it all. Yeah, after all. But now it's heel toe and round we go. It's a rodeo, but not my first baby. Boots tap and you pull me back. Hell yeah to that. It's yeehaw, baby. Drive your cat girl crazy. Be a blue sky daydream. Be the reason why you fall. If you think that I'm the one, then say it loud. Cowboy up or cowboy out. Hey, yeah. Woo! Yeah.
That takes me back.
To where?
Pardon? Oh, when I used to play, you know. Back.
Right.
That was great playing, Lee. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
it's just
feel
a
like we
little,
just
you
had
know.
our first jam session.
So that was the title track of the new album?
Absolutely. That song had a bit of a journey, actually. I teased it on TikTok, and then it kind of was one of those songs that like started having some noise, and then I was like, oh crap, now I have to like find a producer and do all the things. And it actually took me 9 months, and I'm going to tell the story because I don't do this very often, but I cold messaged a guy called Travis Heidelman on Instagram. He messaged me straight back, and he's like, I'm in Nashville this week, love to do the song. And I was like, well, that really wasn't that hard.
Meant to be.
Meant to be.
That's good, because we pretty much just cold message all guests, potential guests
Yeah,
for this
love that.
podcast.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant. It works
see-
sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, how about your sort of process? How does it sort of work? Are you a lyric person, or do you sort of hum a tune that, you know, and then you will put the meter to the words to that sort of
Yeah.
rhythm that you've kind
That's
of...
a great question because it's different for everybody, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Like, I think for me, it's like I have a lot of voice notes on my phone, and that's
Yeah.
from like moments of inspo, whether that be driving the car or in the shower or whatever it is. Like that's when like a melody and an idea, like a feeling, like I said about like, so Keith Urban writes a lot of stuff just by like the chorus or like a melody.
Yeah.
And I think I do also start a lot of my songs that way. And then it kind of, to me, that kind of sets the tone of should
Yep.
this be like a positive up song or is this like a slow ballad?
Yep.
And then at least I'm starting to work out like where this song will live. And then I actually start a lot of songs with song titles. I feel like I'm always writing stuff down on my phone, like little
Yeah.
gems that I'm thinking of through the day or hear people say. I think a song title and like a hook. So Nashville is big on hooks. Like the last 2 lines of the chorus will like hook you in, and it's often got the song title in it. And so that's another thing that I absolutely love, just
it's
trying
good
to chase
starting
that
point,
hook.
isn't it? Yeah. How about emotions though? I mean, a lot of people find it easier to write about, let's say, breakups and stuff, or when they're more emotionally, in turmoil kind of thing, not necessarily blues or love songs or anything like that. I'm not talking Taylor Swift. I'm not talking even Beatles and stuff. But it's amazing if you're in a really happy place where your life's going really good. A lot of good music doesn't seem to come out of mediocrity, or what do you call it?
It's so true.
Beige life. You almost need.
I always think that's why the UK is so good at music, right? Because most of the time the weather's crap and they're depressed.
Exactly.
And you're right. And a lot of music does come from those places. And so that's what I think is the most magical thing about songwriting. It's like, it's healing. It's like counseling. It's like you walk into a room and there's nothing and you walk out with a song. Like, what a wild creation. Like, where does that, to me, I'm always just like, that comes from so many different things, right? It comes from inspiration. It comes from just, there's so many things involved with writing a song.
And that's what AI can't do.
And that's exactly right. So in terms of like, should we be worried? A little bit, but there's also that human element that it just can never replicate.
Totally. So you're going to have to tour this album as well now. And you're around New Zealand. That's going to be hectic.
Yeah, it's touring New Zealand is, I mean, you've done it plenty of times, I'm sure. And
not really.
we could have you could be on our rider. We could have all Snackachangi on the rider.
Well, don't worry about that. It's on there. It's on there.
Done deal. You're coming on tour. But yes, we are going on tour, and touring New Zealand is something that I never thought I'd get the chance to do. As we talked about, country wasn't very big here growing up. The last 3 years of touring I feel like we've like seen that change, and the amount of kids that come to our show I think is so cool. That's, to me, is like, that just shows there's a whole new generation of kids that like country music, which is great. And this tour particularly, we just sort of previously we've done a lot of regional stuff, which I love. Like growing up small town, you realize how starved of things like music you are, and so I always like, when I get that time to tour, I always wanted to go back to my hometown and get to the regions. And I feel like we've done that with the last 2 tours, and it was some of the coolest memories that I have. But with this tour, with obviously scheduling, baby, let's hit the big cities and play some venues that a bucket list, right? Like the Civic in Auckland is a bucket list.
So it's a sort of homecoming kind of thing. I
was going to say, how does that work? You strap on the front pack and you hit the road?
On the stage and good to go.
It's like the guitar, you have to have the backpack one,
but we are trying to normalize having him on the road, which I think as a woman in music is really important. I pay value to the people that have done that before me and shown me what it looks like to be a mum, particularly in the music industry, which is still an industry.
Probably in the dark past, it was a case of see you later. I'm on tour for the next 3 years.
And so I've really tried to make a point of continuing on and juggling things, and it's just meant that I've had to be way more organised. But I also, like I said, I want to have him out on the road with us and just show that you can do both. I think is a really important kind of statement to make to other women in music, for them to see it as well. So tickets available, and I do these meet and greets after the show every night for free, where I literally stand and hug and say hi to every single person that comes, because I think that's such a cool way to connect with people and get to know people out on the road as well.
Lee used to do that, but the sort of people just stopped coming.
Only took a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Kaylee, thanks so much for coming all the way up to the Eco Lodge. Really appreciate it.
What are you reading?
It's pretty beautiful, isn't it? Would you leave? Would you go anywhere else, Lee? Or is this
where I
you
do a
done
lot
now?
of my songwriting here.
This place is actually kind of like Hotel California.
It is a little.
I can't actually leave.
I do a lot of my songwriting, thinking, and drinking, really.
Perfect combination.
Not necessarily in that order.
No, definitely not.
It's not in the other order. We don't really end up doing much of the
Where do the best songs come from?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks, Kaylee.
Thanks for having me, guys. Love it.